everybody keeps asking me if a normal person can actually live in Dubai, or do you have to be a millionaire? Well, in this video, I'm actually going to break down the real cost of living in Dubai in 2025. Okay, welcome to the new Dubai Q&A series with me. I get lots of questions from all of you about things related to Dubai, and you know what? I thought I'll turn it into a series so every one of you can get your answers. And if you haven't asked that question, you might be thinking it, and you can go back to these videos and get those answers. So the first episode, this one, I'm answering one question, and that is, can you really afford to live in Dubai? You know, everybody keeps asking me that. They keep asking me if a normal person can actually live in Dubai, or do you have to be a millionaire? Well, in this video, I'm actually going to break down the real cost of living in Dubai in 2025. I'm going to talk about things like rent, salaries, schooling, visas, going out, eating out, free things to do in Dubai, and I'm gonna break down what you can afford if you are making 10,000 dirhams a month, 25,000 dirhams a month, and 50,000 dirhams a month. All right, let's get into it. The reality is, here's what you don't pay. You don't pay income tax, it's 0%. You don't pay capital gains tax, it's 0%. You don't pay tax on dividends, that's 0%. You don't pay property tax, that's also 0%. Rental income tax is 0%. Crypto gains tax is 0%. And inheritance tax is 0%. Wow, that's an awful lot of things where you don't pay tax on. What you do pay is, we've got 5% VAT on most goods and services. Other than that, we've got corporate tax, and our corporate tax is 9%, which is pretty decent compared to a lot of places in the world. The 9% corporate tax is also on profit above 375,000 dirhams, which is about $100,000. Other than that, that's it. You know, this is why Dubai is one of the strongest places in the world in terms of what your take-home pay is. Let's talk about rent and where you can actually afford to live. So this is probably gonna be one of your biggest, if not the biggest expense. Let's talk about 2-bedroom houses and average prices in 2025. So I've got this for you. In downtown Dubai, approximately 13 to 16,000 dirhams per month. That's a luxury lifestyle. You know, Burj Khalifa, Dubai Mall is right next to you. Then you've got Dubai Marina, which is all the way on the way to Abu Dhabi. And you know, you're gonna pay about 11,000 to 14,000 dirhams a month. You've got waterfront, you've got a lot of high-rise buildings and lots of social life because everything is right there. You just walk down and you are on the marina walking around. There's malls, there's restaurants, there's all sorts of stuff. Good place to be, by the way, very lively. You've got JVC, which is more inland and kind of away from downtown. It's about maybe 25, 30 minutes away from downtown. In JVC, you pay 6,500 to 8,500 per month. Very affordable, it's newish, very family oriented. You've also got Al Barsha, that entire area, you're gonna pay about 7,000 to 9,500 dirhams per month. Mixed communities, you're gonna have metro, so it's a good place to be. It's on Sheikh Zayed Road, and if you work in the media field, most of the offices are gonna be very near you. And then you've got International City, and you're gonna pay about 4,000 to 6,000 dirhams per month. Very budget, very multicultural. You find the right place, it is definitely a good place to be. What can I live on if I want to pay 2,500 to 5,000 dirhams a month? International City, in a studio. You can move to the old areas of Deira Dubai, like Hor Al Anz, very old part of Dubai. You need to go see it before you sign on anything. And you've got the Al Nahda area in Al Qusais, which is literally at the border of Sharjah. These are kind of some of the areas that are popular with teachers, nurses, junior professionals, freelancers, and basically anybody who's just starting up, who has a lower salary and kind of wants to keep as much of that salary as possible, whether for themselves or for savings or to support their families. Okay, the other option is you can actually share a 2-bedroom with somebody, and this is a big money saver. You've got Dubai Marina, JVC, Barsha, T-Com, which we call Barsha Heights now, the name has changed. And then you've got an area called Arjan, which is up and coming and actually a pretty nice area. If your salary is between 10 and 15,000, sharing gets you a much better lifestyle. So consider that if you're open to having roommates. Let's go to the next part, and this is salary and benefits according to the UAE labor law. And of course, I highly recommend you read the entire UAE labor law if you are coming to work in the private sector in Dubai. If you're in the government sector, they follow the labor law plus, so there's some additional things over there. Let's start with what you get as paid leave. If you have completed a year of service with the company, you're supposed to get 30 calendar days of holidays. That's calendar days, okay? If you have not completed a year, but you have completed 6 months, then what they do is they take each month and you get 2 days per month. So that is your annual leave. Once again, check that and make sure it's correctly done in your contract. Now, people here tend to also do flight tickets every year. It is not standard in the labor law. Okay, they don't have to do it. Most people do it as a benefit, and usually what they'll say is they'll give you 1 return ticket per year. You've got to get repatriation back to your country after your contract is done. So let's say you have a 2-year contract, the company is obliged to send you back. Why? Because when your visa ends, you're not allowed to stay here without a visa and not having a job. The only time where you can stay in the country where you don't have a job is if you are in that period 1 month, 30 days after your employer cancels your visa. You have this grace period, and that grace period allows you to kind of look for another job and things like that. But that's it. After that, your status is illegal. In terms of visas, the company is supposed to pay for your visa, is supposed to pay for everything related to getting your visa, which means the medical tests and all that sort of stuff, getting your Emirates ID, getting your labor call, all of that has to be done by the employer, and they also have to give you medical insurance in some form or the other. All right, that's completely on the employer. They're not obliged to pay for your spouse and your children's visas and things like that. However, a lot of people negotiate that, and a lot of people have that for certain levels of employees. So look into that as well. In terms of salary bands, so just to give you guys an idea of what you should be looking at if you come to Dubai, a good salary for somebody who's starting out is 10 to 15,000 dirhams. A solid mid-level professional would be making 20 to 35,000 dirhams. This is per month, of course. And then senior management and a specialist would be making 40K to 60K and above over there. So that would be a super good salary. Once again, don't forget all of this is with 0% income tax. Let's go to part 4, visas and schooling. So your family visa, if you get this job and they pay for your visa and they pay for everything, but you want to get a residence visa for your wife and your kids, how much does that cost? So first of all, you've got to have a salary above 4,000 dirhams or above 3,000 dirhams with company accommodation. Now, if you have that, you're able to sponsor your family. What does it cost for you to sponsor your family, your dependents? So your spouse, roughly about 3 to 4K, so 3,000 to 4,000 dirhams. Your child, about 2,500 to 3,500 dirhams. And your parent, about 6,000 to 7,500 dirhams. And of course, you'll have to do health insurance for them. Once again, basic health insurance, I believe, is just around 1,000 dirhams, just under that. So not expensive, you could do that. But I'd say consider something from 700 to 3,000 dirhams to be the insurance. Schooling, this is probably going to be your biggest expense depending on what you want to do. There's so many varying levels of fees for schools, so many different types of schools, so many styles of schools, so you really need to look into this deeply. We do have government schools, and government schools are for UAE nationals primarily. They pay nothing to go to those schools. We still have a lot of those schools, and the government is transforming these schools into a what we'll call semi-government, so private style teaching and facilities and everything like that, but under a government supervision and execution and operation. So you've got that. Now, if you are a non-UAE national and you want to take your kids to a government school, that is also possible, but under certain conditions, one of which is you would need to be an employee of the government sector. You would pay fees of roughly around 6,000 dirhams, about $2,000, just under $2,000. Your child must be of a high academic capability, so they've got to have an 85% grade point average or above. And also, there is kind of this percentage that they allow non-UAE nationals. If you're an expat and you want to move to Dubai, most of them, the majority, go to private schools. So let's talk about the range of private schools, because they go from like affordable to, oh my God, I'm paying for Harvard over here. So it's a bit crazy. Let's talk about the top end, the very expensive ones. So you're looking at 100,000 dirhams to 200,000 dirhams. And some of these examples are Dubai College. They've got a UK curriculum, their KHDA rating, and KHDA is the Knowledge and Human Development Authority, the entity that's responsible for private schools in Dubai. There is a scale and there are things that they look at, criteria. I'm not gonna talk about those, they're very deep, but just know that a school like Dubai College has an outstanding rating. It's a very old school, again, UK British curriculum. The fees are between 97,000 dirhams and 110,000 dirhams per year. It is not cheap. Certainly not the most expensive one, but not cheap. We've got Repton School Dubai, Nord Anglia International, King School Al Basha. Their fees are typically 90 to 110,000 dirhams per year. And then you've got new schools like GEM School of Research and Innovation that go even higher. They're about 116,000 dirhams to 206,000 dirhams. That's just the tuition fees. There are obviously other fees related to your children being in school. There are schools that are pretty expensive, and then they're ultra premium. They have all the facilities, they have sports labs, all of the stuff that you want. And then there are some mid to high range. I'll talk about a few names that I found for you guys. GEMS Wellington, Dubai International Academy, and JES, Jumeirah English Speaking School. They're often between 50,000 and 80,000 depending on the year and the campus and things like that. These are quite well known, they're strong in academics, and they're quite popular on the kind of mid-size over there. More affordable schools that I got for you guys, and these are the ones that have very good KHDA ratings as well. So you've got the Indian High School, which is a CBSE curriculum. Their rating is very good. Their fees are roughly 6,500 to 14,500 per year. You've also got GEMS, Our Own English High School. Both of these are super old schools, and lots of amazing graduates came out of these schools that are in the community right now. Then you've got the Westminster School, Dubai Scholars, that do the UK and CBSE tracks, 10,000 to 30,000 range. A very special mention to Al Mawakib School, which is the school that I personally went to, which is a brilliant school. They've got multiple campuses. They follow the American curriculum, and they teach English, Arabic, and French, along with everything else, of course. And the fees are roughly from the mid-20s to the 70s per year. And because it depends on which school that you go to, some are newer than others and have much more facilities and things like that. The newest one is Al Khawanij, and it's in the high 60s in terms of the yearly fees. Again, by the time you watch this video, these fees could be higher, you know? So I just want to caveat me talking about the prices as this being a snapshot in time. Look at the date which I posted this video. These are all the latest information. It is a difficult choice, and you're gonna look at a lot of schools. A lot of schools are gonna tell you we don't have a lot of space, you need to book right now. Many schools ask you to put a down payment for the following semester to guarantee your spot. There's a lot of things that you have to check on, but make sure that you do and you figure out what's best for you and your family. Okay, let's go to the next part, and that's part 5, and that is living smart in Dubai. You actually can live very well if you are very careful about how much you are spending. All right, so let's talk about some of the things that you would spend on a monthly basis. I'd say in terms of groceries, if you don't go crazy and you know where to shop, you're probably spending about 800 dirhams to 1,200 dirhams per month. In terms of your utilities, right, and that is electricity, water, cooling, you're probably paying anywhere from 400 dirhams to 800 dirhams per month for a 2-bedroom apartment. Again, I don't know how you use your equipment and things like that at home, but that should be standard. A Metro Pass would cost you in the high 200s, so less than $100, and that's a full month cost. And then you've got mobile and home internet. You could get something ultra amazing for about 400 and something dirhams per month. If you're not careful, you could overspend, but these are generally good numbers to think about. So if we take this on the high end, you're talking about, you know, just under 3,000 dirhams for all of that. This doesn't include obviously you going out and you shopping and all that sort of stuff, but if you're paying something like 3,000 dirhams for your room or your home, and about 3,000 dirhams for everything else, about 6,000 dirhams, you make 10,000, you're saving 4,000 over there. All right. Let's talk about where to eat out. By budget, I want to give you guys some areas to go to where you don't have to spend a ton of money. This is a great city for eating out. We've got so much from the super low end to the super high end. So let me give you a few budget-friendly areas where you'll be spending about 15 to 40 dirhams per person. So let's talk about Old Dubai, Deira, Bar Dubai, Karama, Satwa. Super amazing, predominantly South Asian food. So you got Indian, you got Pakistani, But you've also got Arabic food and you've also got Filipino food. Really great. You've got cafeterias, you've got little small restaurants, you've got shawarmas, you've got manaish, really cool. And you could eat a meal for about 15 to 20 or 30 dirhams, I should say, 15 to 30 dirhams. You'll eat a super good meal in old Dubai. And then you've got areas like Al Rikka or Muraqabat, which is also in Dubai. So if you are on the new side of Dubai, this is on the old side, on the other side across the water. Once again, lots of small restaurants and very good prices. Let's talk about mid-range hangout spots, right? Where you'll be spending 40 dirhams to 120 dirhams per person. You've got JLT, amazing restaurants, so much going on over there, great cafes, great casual restaurants, slightly on the higher side depending on where you eat. You've got JVC, which got super nice cafes, super nice restaurants as well. And then you've got Al Barsha and TCOM. That's probably the older one, lots of mixed restaurants and reasonably priced options, but really, really good. Again, you'll be spending between 40 and 120. If I were to guess properly, 50 to 100, you'll eat superbly in those areas. Let's talk about higher end dining, and that is 150 dirhams to 400 plus, and you could eat anywhere. Dubai Marina, Pier 7, you got fantastic, you're in a building, you've got ocean views and all that sort of stuff, really nice for date nights and stuff like that, superb. Downtown and Business Bay, of course, excellent. We got a lot of hotels, we got a lot of high-end restaurants, super cool. Big shout out to my friend Chef Kelvin from June's in downtown on the Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Boulevard, superb restaurant, super high-end view of Burj Khalifa, fantastic. DIFC, probably some of the most expensive restaurants in the country are at DIFC, super amazing as well. Big shout out to DIFC and everybody there doing a great job, but you're gonna be spending, you know, a decent amount of money. I mean, if you go to DIFC, and you go to one of the restaurants and you eat for two people, you're probably gonna spend 1,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000 dirhams. I'd be shocked if you spend less than 1,000 dirhams on an evening. You may get some deals in the morning because they do business lunches, but not in the evenings. Great place to go. The point is that you can eat at places from 15 dirhams to 3,000 and 4,000 dirhams. So there's a lot to do. There's a big range. You just have to look for it. Okay, let's go to part 6. How far does your money go if you had a salary of 10,000 dirhams per month, 25,000 dirhams per month, and 50,000 dirhams per month? So at 10,000 dirhams per month, you could rent a studio in Deira International City or a shared 2-bedroom in JVC or Dubai Marina. Your transport would be the metro, and occasionally you take some taxis because sometimes you just can't make it because you got to be on the metro a long time, and sometimes it's super busy and you just don't want to be in there. You're going to be more budget focused. You're gonna look for a lot of free activities. You're gonna be mostly eating at home, buying groceries and things like that, or eating in budget areas. Family is possible for spouse, but schooling for kids is gonna start becoming tight unless fees are covered by the employer that you have. So you can live on 10,000 dirhams, but you really gotta watch everything. And I think, you know, if you're single, 10,000 is still very good. If you have a spouse, hopefully your spouse is also working and making money, but if she's not, or if he's not, then you really have to think about all those fees. At 20,000 dirhams per month, you're probably renting a 1 to 2 bedroom in JVC Barsha Silicon Oasis, which is another amazing place, by the way. You're gonna be able to get a car. Fuel is relatively cheap over here. It's not like what you would get in Europe and the US and places like that, so relatively cheap. You're gonna send your kids to school in affordable places and mid-tier schools, and your lifestyle is gonna be a mix of budget and mid-range, and maybe once in a while, something a little bit higher, but you are also gonna be able to save. This is where Dubai starts to feel, you know, comfortable and affordable and easy for a small family. At 25,000 dirhams, I think that's really, really, really good. At 50,000, you're renting in Dubai Marina, you're in downtown, you're in villa communities, you can get a house, you can get townhomes, you're gonna go to some of the best schools, or your kids are gonna go to some of the best schools, not you. You're probably gonna be able to afford 1 to 3 kids, and everything is gonna be premium, gym membership. You know, you're gonna probably get domestic help, which by the way is not very expensive again compared to the rest of the world, and you're probably going to be able to save a lot of money. This is where you are really winning in Dubai, all right? So I'll say that. And if you manage your money well, oof, you can really win with that kind of salary. So, can a normal person actually afford to live in Dubai? And the answer to that is 100% yes. I just showed you guys right now how you could do it. And again, I'll say you need to really plan out how you spend that money. You've got to think about where you stay. You've got to think about how you get around. You got to think about your family. And you got to think about what you're going to spend when you go out, especially to eat. But if you could do that well, you could absolutely live here on any of those salaries. To the person who sent me this question, I hope you got everything you wanted out of it. To everybody else, I hope there was value in this video for you. Why don't you drop me some comments on some of the things that I talked about? And if you have another question that you want me to answer, also drop that in the comments and I'll start to pick them out and answer them for you. See you on the next video.